Hey guys, today is May the 10th of 2022, and I want to go over Cameco using Gann technical analysis. I'm glad to be home. I'm going to be here for a couple of days, and then I'm going to be heading out. Then I'll be back, but it's good to be home. I want to cover a few things. I want to go over cycles on Cameco. What concerns me, especially the weekly. On the daily, I see a potential bounce this week or next week, but very imminent. Third, I want to cover seasonality. And fourth, just kind of go over the charts and just show you some technicals, supply, demand, and show you my game plan and what I can see, playing out between now and July and maybe August because of the seasonal trap pattern. So without any further delay, let's get into the chart. Okay, guys, here is a data set using 5 years from 2018 to 2022. And you can see that March seasonally is very strong. I was leaning towards March being a swing high and then pulling back in for an ABC correction. But they did a good trick on us, and they did what I call the seasonal trap pattern, is that they pushed it to the next month and they got it in for April the 13th and then pulled the carpet. So in reverse, you have to watch out for June and July. If it continues pushing lower into August, I think that would be the buying opportunity. So I'm leaning first on July, the first week of July for the swing low, the 5th or 6th. But if that doesn't play out and they continue pushing lower, anywhere in August could be a great buying opportunity if they're going to do the seasonal trap. So let's look at the 10-year real quick. You can see that June and July is the weakest in regards to Cameco. And you can see that March is still this one of the strongest besides November. If we go into the 15-year, one of Gann's number, mind you, one of Gann's numbers are 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, just in case you didn't know. 15-year, you can see that June is the weakest. Actually, there's all these three right here. And if we go all the way to the 20 years, from 2003 to 2022, you can see that June and July still remain the weakest. Okay, I'm going to show you the weekly chart. This is what concerns me on the weekly chart. I'm using a data set from April 2006 all the way to current prices. And there's two cycles that are important here. The first one is the 192 cycle. You can see that the 192 peaked somewhere around November. This kind of reminds me of the Netflix. I don't know if you've seen one of my posts on, video on YouTube that I did on Netflix. So this is what concerns me on the weekly, that the weekly cycles are down. A couple of things to digest. Doesn't mean that we're going to have to crash and test that $5.30 low. This is the thing that concerns me, is that on the weekly, we're down. I never like to go long unless I'm just calculating a swing trade, but this could probably kind of stall the momentum for now. So just putting it out there, you could just know what's going on in regards to cycles. Another cycle is the 63. And this is a weekly chart, by the way. October around the week of the 24th, that's where it hits a trough. And then a cycle goes back up into June of 2023. You do a composite of those things, that's what kind of the projection, what it looks like. Can this play out? We never know. But this is what the forecast and the projection is showing as of today with the current data that we have. Okay, here we have a daily chart, cycle chart, and I'm using a data set from December of 2018 to current prices right now. And what's important here are two cycles. We'll start off with the 162 cycle. As you can see, it hits a peak somewhere around June of this year. And you can see that we made a high on April, and we're pushing lower. So this is kind of going against the trend. It's going down while the cycles are still pointing up. The next cycle I wanted to show you is the 53 cycle is bottoming out. So this leads me to believe that there's possibly a potential swing low kicking in. So in other words, we just did this A. Now we're going to work on this B wave, which could lead us into June, which could also give us potentially, there's a trend line coming down here, which I'll show you in another chart. But we got to deal with this trend line. We got to deal with the November 8 high of what, 28.49. And there's supply zone up here that we have to deal with. But there's a potential bounce that could be playing out this week or next week going into June using the daily chart. Okay, here's a simple glance. As you can see, EPS sell signal, linear regression channel here. There is a lot of support in this area between 20 and even 19 with the linear regression channel. You see that the last couple of weeks have been negative. If you look at the daily chart, we are hitting the linear regression channel at the bottom, and we're already getting a couple more days, so we'll probably have a ninth Tom DeMark marker here. As you can see, this kind of positive regards to volume, but below the Kumo cloud, there's 19, which is the monthly S2 support here. So there's a lot of support here. So we're coming into some support, and then, you know, with the cycle, the daily 56, if this 6 car is going up, it's all going to be about how far is it going to retrace. This is the point of control 26, and there's a key level here 26.25, which lines up with the point of control with the market profile for potential, and the 50 and the 20 for potential resistance. So it could climb up as here. If you want to do a swing trade this week, potentially could play out for next, for a little swing trade for a couple of weeks until it stalls out and then creates the wave C. Let's go to this chart. As you can see, it failed the 20, the 50. The current low right now is like 20 and change. And you can see that there's nothing positive here on the daily, kind of going back and forth on the 12-hour. Below all the moving averages, dailies below all the moving averages, and you're below the 50 on the weekly, but I'm sure above the 200 on the weekly. And you got, for an extreme, if it wants to really push, keep an eye out for $19. That's the 20 SMA on the monthly chart. Let's go to our Fib grid. You can see that we hit $21. It's key level support using our Fib grid. If we can hold that, then 1936 is your next level. But I think it's going to hold if these cycles play out for potential bounce. And the last chart I want to show you here is the midpoint. You can see that this is the 50% from the previous year, which is 20. You could just say $20, 20 and change. This is the target I had for now for a retrace, maybe into 28.49, which would be your wave B, like I've been saying. But you can see on previous range days, it's all negative. Monthly's negative, daily's negative, weekly's negative. And could be a potential support. Just keep an eye on that for this level right here. A lot of support is here. I think I went over everything. Okay, this is probably going to be my last clip. I'm looking at the monthly chart, and I just wanted to show you this key level of support right here. This big green line you see going across. I just wanted to show you why I have it there and why it's important. This is where we're at right now. I could also put one here, but you never know. Let's just take one level at a time. So that's that. Let's go into the weekly chart so I can show you what I'm seeing. And let's open this chart. So I got a parallel channel going here. You can see that this area right here is going to be support. But just in case it fails, this trend line right here, see that green line? This whole area right here, anywhere from 18 to 1537 is going to be all demand zone. Here the bulls are going to show up in groves if we ever get down here. So first line of support will be this parallel line. If we fail that, we're going to eventually end up right here around for support, and it probably might just go sideways, consolidate, and then maybe resume the trend higher, depending on what is going to play out. And keep in mind that this is going to be the trend line that I was talking about earlier. Let's get into the daily chart so you can kind of see what I'm seeing in my mind and what potentially could play out. This is your first wave. Let's use this ghost thing, which I think is kind of cool. Let's say we go down here and we find support here, and we go somewhere around June, retest that high, and then somewhere around here, let's just pick the middle, around the first week of July as a swing low. So if we hold here, great. We'll get up, with the cycles, the dominant cycle I was talking about on the daily, the 56 that I was pointing up. This has the potential now to go higher, but we have to break through that trend line, which is key. And if we break through it, then we potentially could retest this supply zone right here, anywhere between 28 and that 27 range, 27 and change. Now, if we fail, which I'm assuming we are, we're going to do a wave B, and then we're going to push. Once we push here into July, the first week of July, I like to see this consolidate and push higher. Now, if that's not going to play out and they're going to play the seasonal trap, I can't do it anymore, but it'll be something like this, where it'll just continue pushing lower, and somewhere around August, just randomly picking any spot right now, then it'll potentially go higher. But this is what I'm seeing playing out here. Is it drastic? Yeah, but I don't think, it could probably even be somewhere around here where they push it in August and then just go there. So this is a seasonal trap pattern. If the seasonal trap pattern doesn't play out, I'm leaning more on July. And if I'm wrong, don't hold it against me. Somewhere around July for a swing low and then shoot up. But if July doesn't hold in the first week and they push it into August, that could be your seasonal trap. And the worst case is that it just goes sideways, whatever, and then it pushes even lower after August. The only thing I could think of is Gann's theory, where this is the year that it's just going to be in a downtrend to sideways. And, seasonalities and cycles are probably not going to be as effective because this is, another technique that, deals with, that another potential probability that could happen that the cycles, are not going to have an effect on Cameco. So that's just thinking outside the box. So that's my game plan. For a swing trade, yeah, keep an eye on it. It doesn't have to necessarily test this trend, this parallel channel. It could probably go down here, and it could be a fail new low and then pop up here. But whatever it is, it's going to be making a B wave. Is it this week or next week? If it holds here, or if it holds here, or if it comes down here, it's eventually going to, bounce because it's very oversold. And then the question remains, are we going to take out that 28 November 8 high or retest that 32 high of April 13th? If it's going to be in an ABC correction, it probably won't go as high here. I could see it maybe going to 28.7, 28, and then push lower. And you already know the game plan. I'm leaning towards July the 1st, or the week of July, and then see what happens there. And if it pushes lower, then the seasonal trap will kick in August. And if it continues going sideways to lower, then the Gann theory of the 1 year down cycle could be playing out. Hopefully you like this video. I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on Cameco using Gann theory cycle analysis.